You are listening to the In Between Sales Calls podcast with Derek Shebby, episode 36. It is absolutely insane about how many posts and messages that you see all over the place that are on polarizing topics. I mean, I get it. People are passionate about these things. There's a lot of topics that people want to say and they feel like they have to speak their mind about these topics. And these topics are so polarizing. The challenge with this is that if you're in sales, you have got to control yourself. I was always taught that there's only 3 things that you can talk to a customer about. That's it, 3 things. And it's news, weather, and sports. The idea here is that you've got to stick to neutral topics in sales conversations. I know a lot of people are passionate about creating a relationship and making a connection with the customer, and that's important. That's true. And I want you to realize there that if all else is equal in a sale, if you're up against 10 competitors and the customer looks at every single competitor's offering, including yours, as the same, the final decision comes down to who do they like more? Who do they like the most? That's the vendor that they will choose in the end. This is where we have to be careful. Because when we get into conversations that are about polarizing topics, you can never guess where your customer is on that side of the fence. So it's best to not even bring it up. I mean, think about these polarizing topics like politics is one, right? There's definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to politics, but it doesn't matter what your customer feels there. Just don't talk about it. Don't even bring it up. Religion is also a no-no, ever. Don't even talk about it. That has nothing to do with why they should buy your offering or why you're the right vendor for them. Religion makes no difference in the sale whatsoever, so don't talk about it. The same thing goes for world issues or things like climate change or maybe even universal health care or even movements that are happening. If you're bringing up topics that are too personal or could be personal in any sense of the word to someone, you want to avoid that like the plague. Avoid polarizing topics. That doesn't mean you can't still share those with your family and friends outside of work if you want. I imagine you still want to have that medium, a place where you can talk about it. But listen, when you're working, you must keep the conversation on lighter topics. You would never want to lose a deal because you shared a heavier topic with your customer and they had opposing views. So that brings us back to the success habit for today. Top salespeople know how to talk about news, weather, and sports. And when I talk about news, for the first one, news does not mean political news, okay? I'm talking about current events though. Maybe it's the whole working from home or shelter in place in the pandemic. I mean, those sort of things, there's nothing anyone can do about it. That's just how it is. Or maybe it's homeschooling. Maybe it's news about the college that you saw that they went to, or maybe it's news about their business that you researched and that you read, or maybe it's news of things going on in their city that they live in or the state that they live in. Things like that, things that are very neutral, but it shows that you are paying attention to what's going on in their world and you want to talk about it in a way where it shows that you care. The second thing there is weather. I mean, that's always a very simple thing to talk about. That's why people say, so how about this weather that we're having? Right? They might say things like that. But maybe, like for instance, in San Diego right now, I don't know why, but it's been 100 degrees every single day outside. There's no reason for it. I mean, it's just crazy hot. But maybe for you, it might be to talk about the change of the seasons or maybe making the most of vacations, and that deals with weather. Maybe you ask them if they like to do something in the weather. Maybe it's snow skiing or maybe it's water skiing or maybe it's golfing, but it's something about that they can do with good weather. And the third thing you can talk about is sports. And sports is always an easy thing to talk about. And that doesn't mean everyone likes sports. And you obviously can gauge to see if they do follow any of those sports. But one of the easy way to do it is there a big sporting event going on right now? Like for instance, the NBA Finals is going on right now. So that would be a safe thing to bring up because the chances are is if they're watching sports, that's one that a lot of people are watching. They want to see what's going to happen in the final Super Bowl of basketball, the NBA Finals. So you can ask about that. You can talk about the highlights of the game that happened last night or something. Those sort of things are ways for you to open up and to start building a relationship with this customer, but you're doing it in a way, it's not a polarizing topic. I mean, if they like the Lakers and you're not a big Laker fan, we're talking about basketball here, but if you're not a big Laker fan, it's okay. They can be Laker fans. And you as a salesperson know to not talk trash about the Lakers, and that's obvious. But even if you did, they're not going to not like you because you have an opposing team that you like. I might respect that too, but I still would not talk bad on the Lakers. If I knew that they liked the Lakers, I would talk about what's going on with the Lakers. And having that conversation is going to help you break the ice, build a stronger connection, and stay away from any of these polarizing topics. If you bring up polarizing topics, you've got to think about this. You are out of control. That's just how it is. You are not in control of the way that you're thinking. You can't even help yourself. You have got to remember you were in sales. You chose sales for a reason. And in sales, you must make sure that when you talk to customers, you're in those neutral conversations talking about news, weather, and sports. Just keep it neutral, keep it friendly, and keep it professional. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for allowing me to join you on your sales journey. See you next time. Hey, did you know I just finished a new course? It's called Virtual Selling Machine. I'm pretty proud of it because it will help you dominate the B2B sales world working from home. I go over everything from building your digital brand online to understanding how to best tailor your message to your customers, prospecting from home, running effective meetings over Zoom, doing amazing demos over webinar, and more. It's all packed into a 4-hour course, but I want to hook you up with 1 hour of it for free, no strings attached. Just go to www.modernsalestraining.com/free. That's www.modernsalestraining.com/free. Go check it out now and become a virtual selling machine.